Thank you for joining us once again. This is Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. This morning, we are looking at a very critical matter, a very critical issue, and that's talking about insecurity in Nigeria. Recently, there's been some back and forth between the National Security Advisor and the former Kaduna State Governor, Malam Nasir El-Rufai. Before now, the NSA came out, showcasing the gains of security agencies in Nigeria. It even paraded some, kidnapped victims released from bandits and all that. But Malam Nasir El-Rufai, who was Kaduna's former state governor, he was governor of Kaduna State for 8 years, he came out to say that bandits are still being paid in Nigeria. Recall that Malam Nasir El-Rufai was actually nominated for a ministerial position, but he was turned down by the National Assembly on grounds of a security report. Some Nigerians then made some allegations saying that even Malam Nasir El-Rufai himself is guilty of that same accusation, that some bandits were being paid. This time, he's no longer in government. He's former governor of Kaduna State after spending 8 years, and now he's saying that the Nigerian state, the Nigerian government is greasing the palm of non-state actors, paying bandits, empowering them. That non-kinetic means doesn't translate to payments to bandits, that these bandits are simply using those funds to acquire more weapons and wreak more havoc on the people. The NSA came out and the Kaduna State government, they came out to say that no, that Malam Nasir El-Rufai is just trying to politicize insecurity in Nigeria. But Malam Nasir El-Rufai has doubled down on his claims, on his allegations, insisting that the office of the National Security Advisor and the Kaduna State government, along with some other states, are actually paying bandits in Nigeria. And this is a very serious allegations. Many Nigerians have asked that when Malam Nasir El-Rufai was turned down, when he was rejected as a minister, when his ministerial nomination did not go through, no arrest was made, nothing was said, we didn't hear anything about investigations, the whole matter died down. Now, Malam Nasir El-Rufai is no small fish in Nigeria. He has come out to make these bold statements at this time. And also, he made it clear that he's not trying to undermine the military in Nigeria, saying that he had 3 siblings who served in the military, one of them rising to the rank of general, that he's in no way trying to undermine the effectiveness, the strength of the military. But the fact remains that the Nigerian state is still paying bandits. So we'll be looking at this morning, taking a critical look at this. Of course, joining us on the program is none other than security analyst and expert, Dr. Chuks Maha. Good morning, Dr. Maha.
Good morning, Daniel, and good morning, Femi. Can you all hear me?
You're welcome. We can hear you, yeah. But we appreciate if you can speak up a little bit more.
Yes, I'll try to do just that. Let's see if I can do the magic now. Can you see me?
We'll make sure, we'll work on that. When we do, we'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, but we can hear you clearly for now. Yeah.
Okay, good, beautiful.
All right, thank you, Dr. Maha, for joining us this morning. Dr. Maha, the case here, the allegations, serious allegations made by former Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasir El-Rufai, claiming that Nigeria is still paying bandits, and the back and forth between him and the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu. How do you react to this? The NSA is claiming that Malam Nasir El-Rufai is just, politicizing insecurity. But for someone of the stature of Malam Nasir El-Rufai, who has been a governor for 8 years and who claims he knows what he's saying, are you not worried that there might be more to this than meets the eye?
Yes, well, you're very correct. There is definitely more to it than what meets the eye. There's a lot to it. And if you can recall, and when we trace the history of insurgency, which later metamorphosed into banditry, he was alleged to be one of the actors then who brought about the creation of this monster in the north, trying to make it ungovernable for the then president when Jonathan was then president of the country. But it's neither here nor there. I still say, and I still want to believe, that we are still not totally ripe in our level of democracy in Nigeria. We are playing politics with security and security with politics. It's not a healthy situation. At this point, I will urge the president and the presidency to swing into action by getting the DSS, NIA, DIA in to have a full swing of investigation, separate from the office of the NSA. And of course, the NSA will look at these reports and using professionalism to look at it keenly to know the state of truth with facts, what His Excellency, the former governor of Kaduna State, is still saying. Yes, it's true. It could be some element of truth. I would say it's true that some way or the other, government was trying to pacify these so-called persons, open and close, insurgents or bandits, during the period of election to stabilize them. Yes, whatever they were giving them or not, we are not privy to these facts. But I want to believe El-Rufai has something to say, and this is the time to make him say what he has to say. And it will help us as the people to know exactly what is going on in this country. Yes, the government might know so much, they could be holding back so much, but El-Rufai is here. Maybe he might be disgruntled, maybe, I used the way, maybe he's becoming more repentant now. It could be as a fact of so many things, and of course trying to play politics with this game of called security. We'll stop here for now.
So much, security is one thing that any serious community, society, state, or nation should not joke with. But now, when politically exposed persons talk about these things, and it's being seen from the lens of politics, then what do we have? What are we left with? And that's why many Nigerians are worried that this is where we are right now. El-Rufai, many persons know him for his kind of politics that he played. It was part of the ruling party until the last administration of Muhammadu Buhari, even when he was a governor as well. And then, his nominations were rejected by the National Assembly based on security report and petitions and all of those things. And just like Daniel said, it ended there. At least that is how it looked like. No investigation. It was purportedly rejected because of security reports and allegations and petitions against him. And it ended there. And the man went, just silent. And after some time, he came up, the politics around it and all of those things. But one might say, ignore the messenger in a breath and look at the message that we have. There is a report, I think last month or thereabout, that said, under the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, more than 10,000 persons have been killed in the north. And in fact, yesterday, there is another report that surfaced that said half, we can independently verify that, by the way, but half of those happened, in the north central and all of those things. Kaduna has been, a hotbed of insecurity, the Briningwari axis and all of those things, southern Kaduna. And many persons will accuse the El-Rufai to say, you are almost lethargic. You let everything go. In fact, someone that would say, even when he's not the perpetrator, he allowed the people of southern Kaduna to be overrun, or maybe just look the other way because of politics, or because he didn't like them. These are the narratives of some persons. But here, the same El-Rufai, in a news chart, actually spoke categorically, and he said it keys the bandit approach that the federal government is doing, feeding them, giving them food, and none of those things. Now, beyond the political thing, shouldn't we look at that message as well and say, okay, we'll come back to the politics, but this particular thing, this is where we are, because the military have responded to him, and this is what is said by the Chief of Defense Operations, Major General Emeka Onumajuru, dismissed our claims that Nigerian armed forces support financial payments to bandit terrorizing communities across the country. And he said it is not their thing, that kiss the bandit policy is not what they are doing. But Nigerians will say, why, what would you rather say? And here we are right now. Beyond the politics, do you see, as a security expert, that there are substances in these things that El-Rufai has just spoken about?
Yes, as a person, not necessarily being a security expert, quote unquote, but as a person, as an individual, as a keen Nigerian, as a lover of this country, there's some element of truth. Element, I use the word. I didn't say everything. Some element of truth. It could be he was speaking in the past. He may not be speaking in the present, or he's being futuristic, either of these three. But one thing I do know, that El-Rufai at one point in time was privy to certain information and certain actions concerning banditry or insurgency in Nigeria, in particular in the north. We cannot rule that out. Now, from what angle is he looking at it from? And for what reason is he coming out with this now is the issue. Is he coming out now to say this to run the government down? Does he have a genuine legitimate state in why he's saying this to remedy this country for the better? And these are the arguments. Why is it coming up now? Why didn't he mention this while he was still governor, while he was still in office? But you know, what hits me hollow is that Kaduna, if you go back in history, you're still young, it used to be the safest place in the north to be at a point in time. It was the heaven of the north. I mean, if you wanted to go for relaxation or holiday, you go to Jos. If you wanted to have a nice time, peace and tranquility, irrespective of what part of the country you came from, you stayed and did your business in Kaduna, went to school in Kaduna, did everything in Kaduna, and it was the heaven there. And all of a sudden, this beautiful place in the north suddenly came down, reducing itself into becoming a hellstone. Why? Because of certain persons who wanted to make life miserable for people? I do not know. But you see, there's a big irony there. There in Kaduna, you have the 1st Mechanized Brigade. The army is there, fully concentrated. You also have the police there. Mopu-1, the 1st command, or the command of the mobile police there. Almost all the security agencies have a base in Kaduna, and these things are happening in Kaduna. The question is, why?
All
right.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Maha. Just before I pose the next question, we have some video here. We have the video right here. For the sake of our viewers, I'd like you to take a look at exactly what Malam Nasir El-Rufai said at a television interview that led to this, back and forth with the office of the National Security Advisor.
And you can ask 3 service chiefs that served in Kaduna under my watch. One of them is still alive, Farouk Yahya. Was chief of army staff. He was GOC in Kaduna. I saw him yesterday at a wedding. You can call him, bring him to this program and ask him what we did. What I will not do, okay, is to pay bandits, give them monthly allowance, or send food to them in the name of non-kinetic. It's nonsense. We are empowering bandits. It's not the government of Kaduna State. It's a national policy driven by the Office of National Security Advisor, and Kaduna is part of it. Many states are objecting to that, but that is the policy now. Kiss the bandits. That's the new policy. My position has always been the only repentant bandit is a dead one. Let's kill them all. Let's wipe them. Let's bomb them until they are reduced to nothing, and then the 5% that still want to be rehabilitated can be rehabilitated. You do not negotiate from a position of weakness. You don't empower your enemy. You don't give him money to go and buy more sophisticated weapons. That's why the insecurity problem has not gone away and will not go away as long as this policy continues.
If you look,
they can deceive, they can cover up, they can do propaganda, but those that live in Katsina, those that live in Zamfara, those that live in Kaduna, those that live in those states, they know what is happening.
Well, is that the reason why perhaps you think that there's a slowdown in the attack on schools and kidnaps that we've seen in Kaduna? The quiet we've seen.
And yes, we offered them money. We said, look, if we have to pay you not to kill our people, we're happy to do it. Compensation for lives and property has foundations even in the Quran and the Bible.
What I will not do, okay, is to pay bandits, give them monthly allowance, or send food to them in the name of non-kinetic. It's nonsense.
There you have it. Malam Nasir El-Rufai, former governor of Kaduna State, stating it right there, stating his facts, making it clear that he would never pay bandits. That it doesn't make any sense to say you are trying to, engage them in a non-kinetic, approach, as they say. That it doesn't make any sense. That the government is simply empowering bandits to buy sophisticated weapons. And that is why insecurity has persisted in Nigeria. Dr. Maha, I believe you just heard what Malam Nasir El-Rufai said right there. Do you think that we are actually, that the Nigerian state right now, according to everything they said, Malam Nasir El-Rufai said, that the Nigerian state is actually weaponizing insecurity, either knowingly or inadvertently?
Well, if you know the NSA himself, excuse me, you will know he's a systematic person. He takes his time while doing things. He doesn't just come out quickly to make public utterances. I believe the system is watching. When I mean the system, I'm talking of the security architecture of the current government. I'm not holding forth for anybody, but I've noticed a particular trend in recent times. All the security agencies are hesitant to react quickly for reasons best known to them. But one thing I do know, the situation is being studied. I listened to it. I saw it in the papers. I saw some flashes of this clips you showed just now on the news. But my own issue, yes, it's easy for any politician to come out to say anything now. I don't have the evidence per se, but he was earlier much accused when he was a governor with the late president, head of state then, on the issue of, like, we don't use the word encouragement or importation of bandits then. At that point in time, it wasn't quite cleared. But I want a situation now, I've said it before, I've said it in your program last time I was on air, all the northern governors should come together, drop politics aside, and agree, take an oath there at that summit to say enough is enough. We want to address the issue of the state of insecurity in the northern part of Nigeria.
Dr. Maha.
It affects all government.
Dr. Maha,
yes.
Sorry to cut in here, just to speak on the point you just made, that there were allegations, against Nasir El-Rufai himself when he was in office, and that's the point, that's my point exactly. There were allegations against him, okay? His ministerial nomination didn't go through as a result of security reports. So for someone like him to still be bold enough to come out and say the government is paying bandits, don't you think there is something else? Why do you think it is so? There is someone who had allegations against him, and he's saying here boldly that he knows what he's saying, that the government is still paying bandits.
Yeah, I'll tell you reasons why. I'll tell you reasons why. El-Rufai played a role, a major role, in the coming of the president's party taking over, the presidential bid, in ensuring they still stayed in office as the political party of the day. So he knows the role he played. He knows what he did. Everybody knows that. But the question is, how much can you touch him? For now, he's an untouchable person. You can't touch him. Because if you touch him, the can of worms will be left open. Are you getting what I'm saying? For security reasons now, it's like I keep on saying, we're still playing a funny game in this country. We're playing politics of security. We're playing, the security of policy versus the politics of security. We are not thinking of Nigeria. We're thinking of individuals. And I think the earlier we get our act together to believe and say of the truth that there's no one person that is bigger than this nation. No one person or collectivity of people bigger than a nation called Nigeria. We should think of the people first. And that is it. Once we begin to do that, I think there will be a change. Now, lives have been lost, like you said over when you were giving out the statistics. So many people have lost their lives within this short span of time for reasons best known. Nigerians who probably would have had a brighter future for this country have lost their lives. And these things are avoidable. They are very, very much avoidable. What is the agenda of these so-called bandits or insurgents, whatever name you choose to call them? At one point in time, arguments have been said. In the southern part of Nigeria, we had so-called bandits. Who call them bandits? People who are moving on the issue of the men, the Igbesu boys and all of that. But that was curtailed. They're quiet now. Or at least they seem to be quiet. They're passive. It's not as if they've been exterminated. But they've been managed. Why can't we use that same template we did for that over there? But again, too, what were these other people fighting for? These people were fighting for agitation. Their own agitation was totally different. Now, are we saying these people in the north are not Nigerians, or are they Nigerians? Because you cannot bring people from outside the country to come and torment us here. And that's why I'm saying the office of the DIA, the DSS, and the NIA should be made active. They should go in, let them earn their salary, come out with some reports, and make these public reports public. Let the public know what's going on.
All right.
So we, the public, will help the government to say, yes,
Dr.
go ahead
Maha,
and do this. Let the laws change.
Yeah, and you know, there is this video, the same El-Rufai, in 2017. I think we possibly played it, if our producer can pull it up. The second video, where in the same, yeah, I think we should have it. Let's have it.
Yes, we offered them money. We said, look, if we have to pay you not to kill our people, we're happy to do it. Compensation for lives and property has foundations even in the Quran and the Bible.
What I will not do, okay, is to pay bandits, give them monthly allowance, or send food.
All right, that was El-Rufai in 2017, and in his chat, almost at the same station, you know, the same station, where he said if it is about securing the lives of the people, you know, they paid. He confirmed that they admitted that they had traced some violent aggrieved Fulani to their countries and paid them to stop the killing of southern Kaduna natives and the destruction of their community. So, obviously, logically, with what we are seeing, what he said in 2017, he himself, when he was governor, he paid. He called them Fulani killers, or, you know, killers that were of the Fulani extraction. And he said there was a committee that was put together, a group of people that traced those violent group of people to their country, and they negotiated with them, stop killing my people, and they paid them. And he said, even the Holy Book supports that there is no price too high to pay, you know, in as much you want to keep the people safe. Fast forward to 2025, the same El-Rufai this week, a few days ago, said the government of the day, they are doing kiss the bandit policy, paying bandits, and he will never do that. There was a time in 2021 in which the school kidnapping, all of those things was rife in that state. He said he would not pay bandits, he would not pay ransom, even if his son was kidnapped, would rather pray for his son to make heaven than paying bandits. But the same El-Rufai, 2017, El-Rufai rather, did that, and he's complaining now in 2025. Now, I talked about leaving the messenger earlier. Now, let's talk about the messenger. Do you think that, okay, Nigerians will say the situations are not the best? Even when the president said things are improving, the Office of the National Security of Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, at the helm of affairs, has said things have improved. Those are his words. But Nigerians will say things are still bad. But El-Rufai is coming 2025, a year or 2 years after his nominations were rejected, is now the ADC, heavy politicking going on to say, accuse the government of paying bandits. Where is the character? How should Nigerians not see that this is just politics? That you should just not mind him. This is politics. Because the same thing he's accusing this government of, he did that same thing and he confessed to doing it on a national television in 2017.
Yes, you said it already. You said it already. Now, the truth is that I said earlier on that politics is being played. It's unfortunate, and they're using us as scapegoats in the game of politics. Nigerians should not be carried away with the sway. El-Rufai has had a long history of administration, governorship, and politics in Nigeria. You remember he was once a minister of FCT. He'd been a governor, two-time governor of Kaduna State. He also was, I think, he's still be seeking for the ticket to run for presidency. I know he has an ambition for that. But you shouldn't, because for the reason you don't have it now, run down others. No, it's very, very dirty, mudslinging. That's one. Two, you cannot back the fingers that fed you. And three, I don't believe in playing dirty. You are part of the system, the very system which is still in existence now. Why come out now to say this and that about the system? Why didn't you say it while you were still fully involved in the system? Then would have listened to you to say yes. Yes, he's been on both sides. There's no doubt about it. Like I said in the course earlier today, could it be his repentance? If he is, we need to see the level of sincerity. And that's it. What is the government of the day trying to do? Don't forget, Mr. President Mr. President is going around the world canvassing for foreign investment, continuous stay of foreign investment in Nigeria. That's one. You can only lure foreigners to invest in your country if your country is perceived to be safe. That's one. Two, you need to launder it. I feel for the NSA, El-Rufai. I saw not El-Rufai. Ibadu. I feel for him, yes. I feel for him because it's not an easy job he's doing. One, he has to balance truth with facts or facts from truth. We all know that all truths are facts, but not all facts are truths. So you need to see how you can structure it and balance it to say the state of Nigeria. How secure are we? And to what extent is insecurity gaining or withdrawing its hold in Nigeria? And what part of the country? It's not an easy task. Not one I would even love to be there. I would. That we need to call a spade a spade. That's one. Two, the question here is that who is thinking of Nigeria? Are the state actors thinking of Nigeria or they are thinking of themselves? We know in a state of insecurity, some persons are making money. Some persons are activating and fueling the issue of banditry or insurgency, whether they exist or they don't exist, fueling it in a bid to make certain areas ungovernable for their own selfish ends and means. I believe in this country. I'm an advocate of Nigeria. I believe this country is going to outlive us. I believe Nigeria is going to be the next world country that everybody will seeking to get visas to come to Nigeria. But the question is, what are we doing about it? Now, I love your station, and I'm also happy to let you know out there that the presidency is watching your station. I didn't say president himself, presidency I mean, and they're going to take cues from what is being said now to instigate certain things and put them to action. And I pray the office of the NSC, takes this thing to put in and spearhead certain investigations into the person of El-Rufai, into his person, one, and two, the stories of allegations, what he been saying before he became governor, while he was governor, and when he left, and let's put all the pieces together in terms of security. We're not saying we're investigating his financials. No, we are talking of his security activities. To know of a truth and let us publicize to say, yes, this man is without blemish, or is with blemish. And if it's with blemish, he cannot cast stones onto others.
All right.
And let the government only need to pick people up now. We have been told there is a 7th senator. Who is behind this? Who is this senator? We do not know. But everybody keeps on saying there's a 7th senator. So the question is, what are we doing to expose these elements to bring the state of insecurity down to its minimum level? Meanwhile, I want to let us know here, I want Nigerians to know, there's no safe place in the world. There is no safe place. You say you want to jump out of Nigeria.
But some are safer than others. Dr. Maha, but some places are safer than others.
So you assume. I know that's a different kettle of fish, where we could have a program for that and we'll be to analyze what part of the world is.
All right, Dr. Maha. So much to talk about this morning. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we look deeper at the implications of these allegations. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us this morning. We are still looking at insecurity in Nigeria and the current allegations being made by former Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasiru El-Rufai. Accusing the Office of the National Security Advisor, the Kaduna State government, and of course some other state governments as well, of paying bandits. We still have with us Dr. Chuks Maha, a security consultant and analyst. Dr. Maha, thank you for staying with us.
It's a pleasure of mine.
Now, Dr. Maha, you are a security expert, and I'd like to ask you this. Is there any form, are there any legitimate conflict resolution strategies that translate to payments to bandits as a form of non-kinetic approach?
Well, in truth, they are, but in reality, technically speaking, no. Well, you're not meant to be paid. Nigeria has subscribed to that. We have a bilateral agreement and arrangement where we subscribe to that international policy where we say no, nobody ascribes to threat from bandits or terrorism of any form of sort. Or you see, when the issues come down, push comes to shove, what then do we do? We have to look for some breaking ground, some meeting points, or where things can be done. And of course, when it gets to that level, the government of the day would not be involved in it directly. They will look for a middleman or an agent or a broker who will act on their behalf. Because the truth is, like you said at the beginning of the program, the bane of every government anywhere in the world is a provision of security for its citizenry. If your people are not safe, then you are not fit to lead. So how much and what are you ready to do? It's like, tying the hands and the legs of the government there and saying, no, you must succumb. It's a difficult choice to make, because whichever way you do, you'll obviously be criticized. You do it to get the people out and say, yes, you went against the constitution, you went against the policy. Take, for instance, like you said, what was shown there about El-Rufai. He said, even if his son was kidnapped, taken by bandits, you would rather pray. It's easier said than done. He won't have peace in his house. Obviously, you can't see that.
But Dr. Maha, apart from the government, apart from this allegation of the government paying bandits, let's look at it from the other angle, for the other side. Before now, we've had cases in states and places like Zamfara, Katsina, where citizens, where indigents of the states claim they've been paying bandits just to be able to go to their farms. Here is a sovereign state where we have state governments, and the indigents there, they know these bandits, they pay to them, and the government has not done. And so it's on two sides now. We have that. This allegation is on the side of the government, officially paying bandits, and we still have citizens on their own who are paying bandits in order to go to their farms. Do you think this is necessary? Is this applicable in other climes?
I'll help you out this way. You are in the southern part of this country. What's the difference between the bandits and a sergeant and an agbero?
Oh, there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference. The bandits carry weapons, dangerous weapons, and they kill.
Right? Yeah, you're in the field. He demands money for what services? You own the vehicle, you insure the vehicle, you pay tax and license to government. Why should another person who didn't build the bus stop? He's not a local government official saying that you are to demand money from you, no receipts, taking money from you forcefully. The damage of it. I'm just trying to give an example now. It's an analogy. You know them.
Of course. I grew up in Lagos.
Yes, the same thing in the north. They are there. They are disrupting your service, going to the farm to make your legitimate, livelihood. What do you do? You just have to settle. It's become a normal. It's become, because nobody's saying anything. Nobody's doing anything. So I think it's high time we need to come up to say, no, enough is enough to certain things. It's not a normal way of life. We should curb it. I say, no, this is this. No, we're not going to take it any longer. This, and that. You go down, you want to do this, you need to do that. We know the people, they're human beings. They're not spirits. They live with and amongst us. But the question is the fear factor. The fear factor. Nobody's ready to do the first call to say it's Lagbaja, Okonkwo, Musa, Emeka. You get the point I'm trying to say.
Yeah, not Emeka though.
Until we know that if I come out to expose anybody, to say anybody, I am covered. The government will take care of me and protect me.
Let me pause in there. Dr. Maha, you just reached a particular point now that you said the fear. Fear from who? The state, the people, or the locals, because one needs to state it. The fear from who? Can you say that the state should panic, why should they panic? In fact, let me just ask before I continue my line of questioning. Fear from who? The locals or the institution?
Now, first and foremost, from the locals. These so-called insurgents or bandits are human beings. We have two types. You have the local ones and you have the foreigners, so-called mercenaries, who've infiltrated into the country. And of course, they need to recruit the local ones to cohabit with them, to make their business and stay worthwhile, and of course, to provide a cover. So when you now go and speak and talk and finger out any person, the ripple effect is that as you're pointing at one, they'll tell you, oh, really and truly, your brother, your cousin, your in-law is also amongst us. And because that person's interest is also involved, financially and otherwise, your own life becomes threatened. So it's a mixed grill, fear. Who is going to protect you and who is ready? They say, well, like we have, this extended family business we have in Nigeria, which has both advantages and disadvantages. Well, as the saying goes, as it doesn't affect me, I will allow it be. And that is it. That is a fear factor. The second one at the state level, when you say the state one, we talk of the state security apparatus. Now the question is, when I report, what happens? The information I'm given, how is it treated? It's like you go down to the station to go and write a report. They ask you, put your name, your phone number, everything. You've given yourself out because you do not know who is seeing it. Is he one of them? Is he on their payroll? Or is he protecting the interests of the state and you? And that's why I tell people, if you have any information, use a box, submit the information into a box, or go to the office directly of the local government chairman if you're in a community, or you go and see the commissioner of police directly, not anybody in between.
All right. Now,
if at that level, commissioner of police divulge information, then there's a problem there, but which I doubt.
All right. Let me ask about, because Malam Nasir El-Rufai has talked about the kiss the bandit policy in his allegations, very huge one, that should not be taken lightly by any serious people or government. Now, there's the issue of rehabilitating, repentant Boko Haram. They call it de-radicalization. And many Nigerians have been worried that how helpful, has this policy been over the years? Not just now, it has started since, for years now, because some believe if somebody would take up arms for whatever purpose against the government or the people of any nation or any state or any locality, just because they think they can, and they ransack, they pillage, they kill, they destroy, they even run over army formations, they take up checkpoints and they run it over, and all of a sudden some of them will come later and say no, with their two hands in the air, according to what the government says, and say, we are no more interested. We want to, be helpful now to this nation. And the nation will say, oh yeah, come, let's rehabilitate you. How helpful has that been? What does it do to the psyche of the servicemen and women? Some of them have been, injured. For those that didn't die, with landmines, their limbs cut off. Some of them, of course, you leave the service, you can't work. As handicap or somebody of special need, you're almost useless to the service, and they are watching their family members, the widows of those that have died, the widowers, those that have died, even in the communities, and all of a sudden, these people and some of their family members will still come up to say, we are done, and the government will send under that policy of de-radicalization. Okay, we can de-radicalize you, rehabilitate you into the society again. Is a policy of the government. They have defended it over and over. I need your honest take on that. And how helpful has that been?
Yeah, I'll help you out. Let me start this way. There's no direct answer to this question you said, because it has both flaws, positive and negative. First and foremost, if you committed a big-time fraud in America and you were able to break into the systems, especially the last one that got you to the Pentagon, you are not sent to jail like that. No. You are brought in. You are watched. You are studied. And you now become a guest of governments because they want to know how you did it. They want to learn from you on how to build a system that will become flawless. You're not just gotten rid of like that because they do not know what you're going to do with the information you have, which is in your head. So they begin to debrief you. First, get out as much as possible from you. And that's it. That's the first one. Secondly, I'm not going to talk as a Christian or as a Muslim. You just can't take people's lives off like that. If you didn't kill them in the line of duty there and then, but not after you've captured them, you begin to kill them. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. You give them another chance. But how long will you keep them? Where do you keep them? Becomes another issue. Now you say you want to reintegrate them back into society. Where? It's like you sentence somebody to prison. When he comes out from prison after 20 years and you release him, where does he go to? That is a big problem. Where does he or she going to? If you've not totally rehabilitated and you don't have a game plan of what happens next, then you're going to create a bigger problem thereafter. we need to admit certain factors. We have created a monster. And once we create this monster, it's either we kill the monster or we need to live with that monster.
Dr. Chuks, I intentionally took you up on that because I know many times on this program, we talk about security, and you have been of that opinion. I want to know if you still hold that opinion, that if it's left for you, you are not really much of a convention person. If somebody is caught in the act and you have taken arm against the nation or the people, you have the opinion that that person should be executed as well. But that seems to not be consistent with the opinion right now.
No. I'm of it. That's why I said in the act, not waiting, you capture the person there and then. You are at the front. Let's assume you are in the northeast and there's a raid and it's going on. I'm not going to say I'm capturing them. I'm going to finish them. Finish every living thing that's there to ensure we go, we conquer, and we are back. But not when you capture them. When you've captured them and they've surrendered, at that point in time, you are helpless. There's nothing you can do. Because you can waste somebody's time in your defense of the motherland and, of course, your own life. That is where, and I still stand on that.
All right. All right, yes. Dr. Maha. Recently, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he has been going around, trying to attract foreign investment. He has been working assiduously just to attract foreign investment. Recently, he was in Brazil speaking with investors and all that. My question is, this news right now, this allegation, how do you think it will affect the international community, to know that the Nigerian state might be indirectly funding terrorism?
Yes, every country in the world, including Brazil, has its own fair share of insecurity. Every country, like I said earlier before we took that break, there's no safe country. But in a bid to attract foreign investments, your country must seemingly look safe. One, physically. Two, your policies, which is key, must be safe. Not that when government comes, government change. We need to ensure that one, there's peace, there's austerity, there's transparency, and people can see, yes, I can come and invest in Nigeria, in any part of this country. My investments are safe, my money is there, the policy will not change, and my returns on investment will surely accrue. Now, and that's why I said we need to be very, very careful. And that's why I said I don't envy the office nor the person of the NSA. The service chiefs, like I've always said before, should all work together in tandem and, of course, ensure we flush these people in the interest of Nigeria, not in the interest of politics, not in the interest of the individuals, in the interest of Nigeria, in ensuring our country is safe and our country's reputation is positive. Need to think
Dr. Maha, sorry to cut in. You keep saying in the interest of Nigeria, which is very important. But one earlier point you made, which I'm also concerned about, is the fact that someone like Malam Nasir El-Rufai, he has a lot of information. And according to you, he might have something on the government. That is why they cannot move against him. So how is that? How is that working in the interest of Nigeria?
Good. That's the thing. Now, I said no person or persons put together should be seen or deemed to be bigger than the country. Don't forget, it's politics that's being played. These are all political actors, not security actors, political actors. And for reasons best known here in Nigeria, when you assume a particular level of politics in this country, you seem to be untouchable. You say anything you want to say, and you seem to get away with it. And that's why I said that the office of the NSA should instigate now some form of investigation, not by him, but by other agencies. So these agencies will remain unbiased and the reports come to him. Concerning, first and foremost, the utterances made by El-Rufai, some of us, when we speak, our words are either ambiguous or it just takes just one meaning. So we need to be very careful. Is this how he speaks normally? Why is he speaking this way? Has he spoken like this in the past? Is he speaking like this and does he intend to speak like this in the future? What information does he have on us? Why can't we move in on him? And these are the issues, because we need to let people know that it's not the Nigeria before. You just don't come out on air and begin to blah, 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 blah. One, even if you have that information at hand. Take, for instance, America. Do you hear past presidents coming out in America to talk about the government? They all remain in inclusion. They just stay and keep quiet. You will never hear Obama speak. You will never hear Bush speak about anything, or Nixon, any of them. None of them see anything. They just sit down and watch. Why? They think of the interests of America. We're also happy in Nigeria, some heads of states too in the past don't speak, they don't speak carelessly. And we need to invite certain cultures like you just don't come up and begin to talk. Irrespective whether you're in office or not. No, there's a reason why I'm saying this. Because what you're saying may have a far-reaching effect, not on what you're trying to achieve, but on the rest of the polity, which you may not have control over again, because they'll be quoting you. That's why I said there's something he has, there's something he knows, which government also knows, but yet to say anything, but it will come up to light sooner or later. We'll get to know about it.
Absolutely. All right, Dr. Maha, please stay with us. We are due for a break. When we return, we continue with the conversation. Thank you for staying with us, and we're still talking about the state of Nigeria, insecurity, allegations and counter-allegations between the state and, of course, the person of Malam Nasir El-Rufai. Serious allegations, and, of course, the international community, they are watching, they are looking at us and looking at the drama playing out right here in Nigeria. Like I said before, these are no small allegations, these are serious allegations, and we have with us Dr. Chuks Maha, a security consultant and analyst. Thank you, Dr. Maha, for staying with us. Dr. Maha, are you still with us? Can you hear us? Can you hear me clearly? All right. While we wait for Dr. Okay, we'll try to reestablish connection with Dr. Maha. One fact remains clear. Dr. Maha has also said it right here on this program this morning, that it seems as though Malam Nasir El-Rufai has something on the government. He has debts on the government because, according to him, he worked for the government. He worked for this, of course, for this present government. He was part of the system. He campaigned for them. He made sure they came into, he played a crucial role. Malam Nasir El-Rufai played a crucial role in making sure this government comes into power. But now that, you know, things are not moving so well between him and the president, he has decided to go for broke. All of a sudden, he's coming out with these allegations. And just like Femi said here on the show as well, why didn't he say all this before now? Why wait till this time? But again, away from the messenger, let us take a critical look at the message. Yes, Malam Nasir El-Rufai might not be a saint, but the question is, what he's saying, is it true or not? That's a big question. So we should take a critical look at that as well, Femi.
Yes, we should. And bearing in mind that this is the time of heavy politicking, which Malam Nasir El-Rufai is one of those at the forefront of these, especially with his new darling ADC, ADC. And many of those persons, because after his nomination was rejected, for like the year after, he was silent. He was, he was just minding his business. And later, he started granting press interviews. And for the past 6 months, he has been speaking. And there's the part of picking up the message, looking through it, because I think it's in the best interest, or Nigerians will say it's in the best interest of the nation to look inward and check into what he has said. Maybe it's not even a federal government presidency thing. Maybe there are arrangements that even the man in charge, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, didn't really go ahead to.
Like maybe regional arrangement.
Regional or institutional arrangement, not given by the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic himself. But we understand.
Yeah, Dr. Maha is back.
Dr. Maha is back. Doctor, can you hear us?
Loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. And we're on the home stretch right now. My question, Ivan, to ask you at this time is to just ask, this is where we are right now. The politicians are speaking. Beyond the politicians, Nigerians are speaking. The other time in Brazil that Daniel talked about, the president, part of what he said was no more corruption, and he talked about the finances of the nation, although Nigerians have their own views as well. Before that, the National Security Advisor, NSA, said things are very, very better. And you know, we talked on this program on that as well, in which, in fact, let me bring back that question to you as well, that this narrative, this position of the NSA that is holding, that things are far much more better than it was, banditry-wise, kidnapping-wise, in fact, put it, security in Nigeria has improved greatly. According to him, many Nigerians are afraid that if this is the position of the National Security Advisor, if he believes that things are very much better than he met it, and we still have carnage on the plateau, carnage in Benue repeatedly, to the tune that even the president had to go there after much pressure. Even after he left, that plateau, that Benue, they are still being attacked. Even in Katsina, in Sokoto, bandits are running riots. Even in Niger, and the NSA is saying things have improved very well. If this is the position of the NSA, if he believes truly, not just politics or, you know, him trying to just do like he's doing his job, if he believes things has improved in Nigeria, do you fear, like, number one, we are not acknowledging what is really on ground, and number two, that Nigeria as a state is in problem? If the person coordinating the activities and operation on his desk as the NSA believes that things have greatly improved.
Now, let's look at it from, there are two angles to look at it from.
Okay.
When you look at it from the singular perspective, crime versus crime is one aspect. Then when you look at it from the holistic position of crime, criminality in itself, what involves or brings about insecurity, is a different thing entirely. Now, if I now take the aggregate, 37 states, that's 36 plus FCT, and say as a whole, what has the level of security? Has it dropped or is it increasing? Holistically, we'll say it has dropped.
Dr. Maha.
Individually, singularly, if I look at it from state by state, certain states are increasing. Yes. Now, listen, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Emeka, can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
Good. Now, yes, please. We need to understand where his statement is coming from. Is he talking from a singular state by state aggregate, or the aggregate of the totality of all 37 states? That's 36 plus FCT. If I say, yes, insecurity is on the decline, and you ask me why, and I said I've taken an indices of the entire 36 states and the FCT all put together, aggregate together, and I say this on the decline. Meanwhile, on the state-by-state basis, it may still be on the increase, like you mentioned, Benue State, right? But that is one state out of 37. Now, it depends on how you want to look at it. You can say the glass is half full or half empty. Which do you want? Are you a pessimist or an optimist? Now,
so the NSA is just being an optimist.
Yes, it's just being an optimist, and I like that. I like the way he's looking at it. But again, too, you must not be oblivious of the fact that there's certain issues on ground which you must definitely resolve. There's no doubt about it.
And that's exactly my point, Dr. Maha, that we can be optimistic or pessimistic in our approach based on what anybody wants.
Yes.
But we look at the reality on ground. Now, Kwara State is another concern right now, and I'm sure you know that that's a state that has been, they call it the state of harmony, relatively peaceful, is part of the concern right now. And a few months ago, Babagana Zulum, the governor, in fact, he has said that 2 times in the last 6 months, that bandits are running riot. He's a member of the APC. He's a serving governor. He's the governor of the vice president himself. And he said bandits are running around unattacked in his state. But you're talking about pessimism and angles this morning. The reality stares at us in the face, isn't it?
Okay, let me ask you this question. What has the governor done?
Dr. Maha,
what can he do?
The governor is not in control of security apparatus.
There's so much he can do. There's so much he can do. Just like what you had El-Rufai say, once you are a governor, you are the chief security officer of your state. You are allowed to do anything you need to do
in reality,
to protect the interest of your people
paper
within your state. Hold on, listen to me.
Yeah.
It's only where you cannot that you cry out for assistance from the presidency, from the federal. You have chiefs of staffs there within your state. You have the Navy, you have the Air Force, you have the DSS, you have everybody. You have to utilize what you have. And if you're not doing fine, you ask for a change of that person. Okay, let me give you a good example. In the southwestern part of the country, you have Amateku, don't we?
Of course we do.
Good. What brought about that? Some states could afford, some states couldn't within the southwestern region. So all the state governors came together as irregardless or irrespective of the fact you may have the resources or not. Let's team together, bring a little resources together to cover the entirety of the southwestern country, southwestern region. And that's what brought about the birth of Amateku. And what's it doing? It's yielding results.
Oh, all right,
That's
Dr. Maha.
the point I'm saying.
Oh, all right, Dr. Maha. Okay, we are running out of time, but just before we go, Dr. Maha, I would like to ask you this. One underlying factor I'd like us to take a critical look at in all this, drama playing at this situation is the concept of corruption. Corruption in Nigeria. Because in the course of this program this morning, you've made it clear that for someone like Malam Nasir El-Rufai to be saying what he's saying, and he's saying it boldly, he definitely has something on the government which is restraining the government from moving on him, because he played a crucial role into bringing this particular administration into power. So what does that say about corruption in Nigeria? Recently, Mr. President was in Brazil, and he said, no more corruption in Nigeria. Now, that has raised some concerns in some quarters. Some people are criticizing that you can't just, say it as if you're waving a magic wand and saying, no more corruption in Nigeria. What is this current state, this current situation? What is it saying about corruption? If Mr. President is saying no more corruption in Nigeria, and we are watching, we are seeing all this play out, and the international community too, they are watching. What does it say about corruption in Nigeria?
Well, like I told the politician, if we're going to bring about no corruption in Nigeria and in its entirety, you and I later will begin to cry out. And I'll tell you why. It's going to touch the heads of certain persons.
Go ahead,
Dr. Maha, are you still with us?
Yes. I'm very much with you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, good. I pray a time will come in Nigeria where our agencies will fear nobody and do what they have to do, irrespective of the fact that by the time they finish, they may not have a job to come up to. And that's when the issue of corruption will begin to become on the decline. Many of the security officers are afraid to do their jobs because they want security to their employments. They're afraid that if they do what they have to do, they may not have that seat again. And that is the truth, because they have been appointed. From the judges to all the security agencies in Nigeria, to everything, including to you. Because there's certain things you can say on air, your license can be revoked. Am I communicating?
Absolutely.
So we need to be careful on certain things. Yes, we have a wishful list, but how do we achieve this? Are we ready as a people to achieve it? If the answer is yes, as a people, then we can achieve it. But if we're not ready to achieve as a people, then we'll have to wallow in what we are going through.
So, Dr. Ma, are we simply
like
playing...
I say,
is this administration simply playing lip service to the fight against corruption?
It's not just administration. All administrations put together and play lip service.
Yes, but we are talking about this administration now. We are focusing on this current administration.
Well, there are two ways to look at it. Do you want to wait till it ends before we give them the score? Look at the scorecard?
No, let's give it to them right now. No, Mr. President has said it. He said, Mr. President said no more corruption in Nigeria.
Yes, I'll tell you the reasons why. Hold on. The one before that one said so. All of you believed him because he was a military head of state. I saw what he did then, being under military regimes entirely. And even then, who was the one doing it? Was it him or was it Tunde Diago? That's a different thing entirely. The people fear Tunde Diago. And that's why that government succeeded. But that's neither here nor there. Now, I am not trying to say that the person of Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a person cannot fight corruption. He can be the Saul that has become Paul.
But does he have, Dr. Maha, does he have the willpower? Does he have the willpower to do that? Does he have the willpower to do that?
Hold on. I have said before, and please quote me right. If it were 30 years ago, the man of Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu could have done it very well without blinking of an eye. He's now stood politician to the core. But don't forget now, he's much older. He doesn't have the kind of wherewithal which he had when he was much younger.
So we should excuse him.
And again, there's a crowd he's taking on his shoulder.
So we should excuse him for that.
What I'm saying, hold on, don't get me wrong, please, and don't get me wrong. There are certain things when you look at a person's antecedents, may not be holistic, might not be exactly what it would have been if it were before. Don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. And don't forget, it's not a one-man show. It's a collectivity of people. And that's why if on air I keep on mentioning presidency, I've never used the word president. No one person can do it alone here in Nigeria. Please let us know that. Not you, not I.
Dr. Chuks.
We need to work together, collectivity. Yes.
Yeah, my fanatic this morning, you are not one known to be evasive. So I wonder what's going on here. But let me just ask you, my fanatic, this morning, my final question, 30 seconds. Yeah, please hold on. Is the fact that on a scale of 1 to, we can wait. You know, Nigerians wait here for the first year, for second year, third, fourth year of Buhari, first time, and we were told wait for the second time. 8 years came and 8 years is gone. Even the money is gone. The history is there. You can say we should wait till 2027, you know, to analyze what is on ground. But this is more than 50% of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 4 year in office. On a scale of 1 to 10, as a concerned Nigerian, how will you rate security under Bola Ahmed Tinubu? 1 to 10.
1 to 10. I'll give maybe 50%, 5. As a person, as an individual, 5.
All right.
And I'll tell you why.
That's quite generous coming from you, Dr. Maha. That's quite generous.
Yes. Very generous. You're very, very generous. And I'll give 5.
All right. We must go. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. Chuks Maha, a security expert and consultant, and of course, a patriotic Nigerian. Thank you for your time and your take, Doctor.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. We must go. This is our country. It must work in our time and even beyond. Either is Muhammadu Buhari, you know, the late Muhammadu Buhari, or Tunde Diagbon, or Bafemi Awolowo. But now we are talking about Bola Ahmed Tinubu and all the state governors in the 36 states and the FCT minister. You have your work cut out for you. You have to do it. The office of the NSA, military institutions, and everybody, especially you, Nigerian, you know, it's worth talking about, and that's why we are here today. We make a return tomorrow, God willing, for the Thursday edition of Morning Spring. Thank you for staying with us. Femi Ojo is my name. I'm a Nigerian, a patriotic one. The truth must be said where and how and when it needs to be said. You can have a recap of this program on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television NG, Western Spring Television NG, and on our Facebook page at Western Spring Television. Shout out to the production team. See you tomorrow. God bless Nigeria.
Absolutely. And I'm a Nigerian too. I love Nigeria. And I dare say, I love Nigeria to a fault. That's the only reason why I picked up this profession. Thank you so much for staying with us on the show today. Daniel Emeka is my name. Join us again tomorrow for a fresh edition of Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Do have a wonderful day. Good morning.